Hey guys, LevelCap here. Today we're going to be reviewing the Shadow Price Legendary Auto Rifle in Destiny. Now this is a very important auto rifle because it is one of the few good PvP auto rifles that you can actually buy in Destiny when you get enough Vanguard marks. You're certainly going to have to work for it, but once you hit Vanguard rank 3 and you get 150 Vanguard marks, you can buy the Shadow Price Auto Rifle from the vendor with these exact weapon modifications. Now of course you have the chance of just finding an auto rifle in the field or perhaps as a mission reward or something like that, and it could have different modifications, so you could find a better Shadow Price than this one or you could find a worse one. It really comes down to the roll of the dice. But this exact same model will always be available from the Vanguard weapons vendor in the tower, so it is a sure thing as long as you're willing to work for it. Now I'm using it a bit here in PvE just to test it out, and as I assumed, it wouldn't be that great for it. It's not necessarily to say that it's bad for PvE, it's just not one of the best PvE guns out there. You're going to find a lot of better ones, but that's not really a big deal because Shadow Price has made a name for itself in the PvP world of Destiny. Finding the ultimate PvP auto rifle or the ultimate PvP gun is a bit tricky in Destiny, especially since so many of the gun drops are RNG based. This one is a guaranteed thing and it's a very good PvP gun. Believe it or not, the optic type that you pick for your weapon actually does change the performance of your gun. So here we have three choices. The first scope here is the Red Dot ORS1. It's what I'm using in this clip, and it magnifies your scope by 0.4, so that's like a 40% zoom when you aim down sights with this gun. It also has increased range, so your damage drop off is furthered, and your stability is improved by 6 points. Now we're not really sure how much your stability is improved by 6 points or 10 points or 12 points. It's just a number, but it's still got one of the better stability improvements. The next scope unlock is the Sure Shot IS. This only gives you a stability improvement of 2 points, but it gives you a reload bonus of 12 points and a handling bonus of 12 points. Now, reload obviously increases the reload speed of the gun. Handling increases the speed at which you can basically aim down sights, so it's a bit snappier feeling when you're ADSing, which is great for basically twitch reflexes in a PvP or multiplayer game. And it also slightly decreases the time it takes to draw the weapon and to holster the weapon when switching between guns. The last of the three scope choices is the Ranged Lens RLS3. This gives you a 0.6 times scope modifier. It improves your range by 8 points, your stability by 3 points, but it lowers your reload speed by 2 points and handling by 7 points. Personally, I think this scope doesn't really have much of a point being on this gun because the recoil on the gun, although not terrible, just isn't going to hold up at longer ranges anyway, so you may as well just ignore this optic. Of the three choices, I like the Sure Shot IS the most. It's snappy for PvP and it doesn't really obstruct the screen too much. And speaking of PvP, I've switched over to some gameplay here. This is actually the Iron Banner, and a lot of this is up against really tough players. So I'm going up against guys with the Suros Regime and the Vex Mythoclast. So basically I'm going up against a lot of people using some of the best guns in the game, and it is a great place to actually test out this gun and see just what it's made of. And you'll see here from the clips that I am definitely able to hold my own against some really good players, but at the same time I don't think it's quite on the same level as the Suros Regime. Then again, we're comparing one of the best exotic assault rifles or auto rifles to a legendary auto rifle that you can purchase in the tower. So for that, it's still a very good auto rifle and certainly a good gun to pick if you don't have the fortune of getting something like a Suros Regime. Now the standard damage of this weapon in normal PvP, not Iron Banner PvP, should be 32 for a headshot and 22 for a body shot. On average, this should put you around 7 to 9 shots to get a single kill. 25 rounds in a mag, you have a pretty good chance of getting 2 kills per mag, 3 if you are somehow unbelievably lucky. Now as you continue to rank up this weapon, you will unlock new modifiers for it, the next of which is persistence. The longer you shoot this weapon, the more accurate it becomes. Digging into the stats a little, we see that it can get up to 20% more accurate. However, I'm not really sure what more accurate means. I assume it means slightly less recoil, so the longer you shoot, the less recoil you have to deal with. Overall, not that great of a modifier, but better than nothing. The next series of upgrades makes you pick between one of three. You have Quick Draw, Hammer Forged, and Armor Piercing rounds. Quick Draw gives you 100 points to your handling, allowing you to aim down sight much faster, and it gives you 10% to your ready speed and 10% to your waste speed. That's if you're switching between weapons. Hammer Forged increases your range by 40 points, but also reduces your reload by 10 points. Armor Piercing penetrates multiple targets and thin walls. My personal favorite for PvP is Quick Draw. Switching between guns in Destiny is incredibly important, so having a bonus to that speed really helps out, and ADS speed being almost instantaneous is just really awesome to see while you're playing. The last modifier you get is called Life Support, and this restores 50% of your magazine and increases your reload speed by 150% after you get to about 20% of your health. So basically, near-death experiences increase your reload speed dramatically. This can be very useful for when times get really crazy. Often in a duel, you're going to go down to very low health, being one more hit and you're dead, and if you win that, then you can reload your gun incredibly fast and be ready to engage the next guy. Certainly it's useful, but there are a ton of better modifiers out there, which leads me to believe that it would not be too hard to find a much better shadow price out there just as a random drop. And I'm kind of excited to see what potential shadow price drops I might get over the lifetime of playing this game. Now, I really like the idea that you can actually get some incredibly good legendary guns based on the drops that you might find. The only problem is that legendary drops are just so infrequent in this game, so getting not only legendary weapons but legendary weapons with good rolls on them is very, very unlikely. For example, I once got a legendary machine gun that had a very large magazine, and the two modifiers that it got was the gun reloaded faster after you spent the whole magazine, and if you killed somebody with the last bullet in the magazine, it reloaded even faster. So I had two faster reload mods provided that I used the entire magazine of my machine gun. Basically, it was the two worst mods you could get for an LMG and pretty much just a throwaway gun. And of course it wouldn't be as big of an issue recycling a legendary weapon, except that you get them so infrequently that it really is kind of heartbreaking when you get such crappy mods on them. So overall, the shadow price that you can actually buy from the vendor is actually a very good PvP gun, especially if you don't get any sort of super rare exotics or super good exotics while playing this game. It's something that you can work for. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap signing up.